everybody. It's Valerie from Valerie Wallace-9 Arts, and I'm here in my basement studio in Orono, Maine, 04473. And today we are going to draw this beautiful picture of a horse. It's 10 o'clock, I think I already said that, and let me just I'm here all by myself today. I don't have anyone to help me, so I want to make sure that it's working. And yes, it's working. Okay, and I'm in the picture. Okay. The big thing about this picture is the lighting. It's almost, if you took a black and white photo, it would be almost like white and black. Okay? And that's why it is gorgeous, and it looks like it's just a glowing field, and it's just makes you feel good inside. Okay? If you don't have colors, it's okay. We'll still make it work with, oh, here, I need my tape. We'll make it work with a pencil as well. It's still all about the darks and the lights. Okay? So if you pick up whatever colors you pick, just make sure you have a bunch of dark ones and a bunch of light ones. The horse is pretty forgiving because you don't even see the legs. Okay? I mean, if you're having trouble, just cover it up with grass. Okay? All right, let's start with this. So I am going to use this light yellow. I'm going to make sure that you can see it, but that's kind of the secret, is this glowing bit of light that runs around everything. And you can even see how her hands sort of fade into the grass and everything. So I want to use this yellow. Hopefully it will work because I want you to be able to see it too. All right, let's try. It's kind of a goldish yellow. All right, and we're going to start right here. Okay. It's not a deep curve, it's a wide curve, okay? And, you know, the person is about in a third of the paper, so you just need to be over this way, okay? And don't go too low, because this is super boring, right? The green, it's important, but it's super boring. So go up a little bit above midpoint, and we're going to make a nice wide smile like this. Can you see it? Let me see if I can see it. Yeah, I think so. Okay? So, and then what I want you to do is we're going to round the bum. Okay? So you're going to round this out like this. Kind of like that. Okay? I'm going to do one in black and white down here. So you can see everything a second time. So I figured about a third for where the person is. I'm going to fit my horse in here. I'm going to go a little above the middle point, and I'm going to start with, all I have to do in the back is to fit down there is the bum. So I'm just going to get it over this way a little bit. So I want to make nice wide smile. If you're working with pencil or charcoal or something, draw lightly. Okay, that way you can adjust it, or you can use your eraser or whatever. That's kind of a deep curve. Okay. All right. If you made this too sharp, just redraw it. The horse is dark brown, right? So it's going to be pretty easy. If you need to correct it, just correct it on the outside, and then we'll just color over those lines. Okay? All right. All right, so now what we're doing is we're looking at the neck. All right, don't look at anything else. Don't get confused, okay? But all it does, the peak of the neck isn't really any higher than the bum, right? There's just a little divot in the middle. And it's almost about the same. You know, if you don't look at this, it's almost like about the same wave right here. Okay, so kind of be thinking the same idea. All right, so I'm going to round this out kind of like this. All right. You know, the length to the forehead to the shoulder, about this much. It's a little bit bigger than the bum. Okay, so if I measure the size of the bum and I put it here, I want this to be just a little bit bigger, but that's all it is. Okay? Same thing here. I'm going to round this out like that. Okay? I mean, obviously the horse can lift its head, it can move his head around or whatever, so there's not necessarily a right or wrong. The thing that's going to make probably the biggest difference in your horse is the distance right in here and how thick you make that neck. It needs to be really thick. If you make it too skinny, you'll look at your horse and be like, that horse's head to the glue factory, okay? So that will be the place that you'll want to amp it up, okay? All right. All right, the next thing is, let's look at this head. Well, yeah, okay. So don't get anything else. For the most part, it just drops straight down, okay? And it's dropping down, and it's going to hit, you know, the lower part here. So if I drop the head down, it's going to be around like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little box, and I'm going to come up a little bit. Just a little bit like that for now, okay? So again, I'm going to drop this down. This is going to go down, you know, about where I think the low part of the hip, okay? And then go flat across the bottom, and then go up a little bit. You know, they have that big jaw. The great thing about this picture is because there's so much glow and we're looking into the light that you kind of can't see the edges of stuff. So you don't have to worry too much about all those contours. I mean, no one's going to wonder what this is, okay? Everybody's going to know it's a person. Even if it's super blurry and hard to be defined, it's all about this yellow. And then everybody will understand. It's hard to see when you stare into the light, right? Okay. Now I'm looking at this little shape right here of yellow. That's called a negative space, okay? And what you're doing is you just think about that shape rather than thinking about, you know, where does this line go, okay? I want to think about that a little bit. So I see that it has a bump. It curves up. So there's a curve kind of like this, and then it kind of slants down, okay? That's pretty close, okay? And then I want to look a little bit about here to here. And like I said, if I don't have a nice thick neck here and a nice thick neck from here to here, then I probably want to bring that line down a little bit. All right? Let's also give him a nice ear. Okay? Looks like a unicorn right now. But better too big than too small because we're going to be coloring all around it. Okay? We'll do that for now. Again, so what I did was I just kind of curved this guy up like this. And then I kind of slanted it down, all right? And I'm looking for it to be a similar shape, this little bit here to be similar to this. Again, it's called a negative space, okay? And it really is a big secret to drawing things. When you're like, something's not right, you look at the negative spaces, the spaces between the legs, the space, you know, in an elbow or something like that, okay? All right. All right, so we're getting there. Let me do the ear down here. And this ear, if, you know, make sure it's kind of near the front. Then I want to have a little bit of bang. So from the ear, I'm going to have a little bit that's going to pop off there. And probably the thing that I want to look at is that from right here, that's about halfway. So whatever I have from about here, I want to have the same size on the snout, on the lower part, the muzzle. Okay, good. I think that's pretty good. We'll add on, but again, I'm going to have this glow of yellow around this, so that I can add a little extra. All right, here I think pretty good shape. Again, it does have. I'll show you here. It has a little. There's a jaw that kind of curves like this. Okay, and then the forehead will come out a little bit. There's a little more shape to it, but okay. All right. Then, I mean, just so we feel like it's horsey, it's the mane, right? This one doesn't really have a tail. I guess you want that tail to be right up near the back. Okay, don't have it coming out of the middle of its bottom. That's not good. Okay. The mane is hanging straight down here and straight down from here. But it's a little slanted, but it's not a lot, okay? We're going to have a shape kind of like that. Looks like I got a blanket on its neck. All right. So here, but I do have that, let me get rid of that line right there. That the mane does hang like right over, right around his ear. Right? So you want to bring that right in here like this and right here and then bring this down. Okay? All right. So far so good? I think so. Okay. I don't know. Let me see if I'm still on TV on my computer. Yeah, looks like it. Okay. let's do the person. This is the thing that we're going to have, though, is we're going to have the horizon line, or where the field is meeting the trees, right about at her shoulders, okay? Let's do that. Let's stick with that. All right? So what I want you to do is, don't draw the line all the way across. You're just going to go from about the forehead over to here. So it's not very far. You want to keep it close because there's a connection between the girl or the boy and the horse. Okay? So if you put it way over here, then you're missing that thing. Although she could be walking towards it. Okay? All right. So right around the forehead here, you're going to make a little short line like this. Okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to actually draw the body. And the body, if you don't look at anything else, no head, no arms, is pretty much just a rectangle. It's a little curved on the top. But we'll just, maybe we'll curve it. I don't know. We'll just make a line that comes down like this. And not too far apart. Like her width is a little bit bigger than the muzzle, maybe. Okay? So don't make it too wide. I mean, unless you're a bigger person, and then you make it bigger. Okay, so we do kind of like this. We'll use this to go by, because the proportions are right. Obviously, you make the person a lot bigger. Probably we're going to read it as they're closer to us. And then, because we kind of know how big a horse is and a person is in comparison. Or, you know, it might look like a pony and she's standing right next to it. Okay. Then what I want to do is, her head is about half the size of her body. Okay? So be thinking of that, and what I want you to do is make a round piece like that. Okay? I know it's kind of weird right now, but it's going to work. It's going to work, I promise you. Okay. I gotta bring this over a little bit. Alright, so down, down. Like I said, about the same size as its head. Maybe a little bit bigger. Alright, and then I'm going to have you round up about half. The little finger part is about half the size of the body. Okay? Alright, and now I think I'm going to, well, no, I'm not. I was going to switch over colors, but I think I want to keep this. Yeah, I'll have to, just so you can see it. Okay, and then what you'll do is, you know, the hair is coming down the back a little bit. So if you can bring kind of a piece that curves down. If you curve it kind of like in the middle, a little bit asymmetrical, meaning not perfectly even, it's going to look more natural. If you draw that head and then you make a round hair and you know, color up and down like this, people's hair doesn't look like that very often, okay? So, hers has a little, like, it goes over the shoulder and then it kind of droops down, and you'll find that something like that might work a little bit better, okay? All right. Then what I want to do is, it's going to have a little bit of where her pants go, okay? And the thing is that if this would also work, the same kind of thing is if you want to put somebody in the water, is that you just draw and then you make the water or you make the field all around them and they look like they're in a really deep, tall grass. It's super cool, okay? So you don't need to go very far, all right? And then, but you know, her arms, you know, they're going to come down. They would be about where your leg is. So this is not good. That's too short, okay? So you want to bring, you know, from wherever her shoulders are, you're going to bring down a line here. And then maybe this one's a little shorter because she's reaching forward towards her horse. Okay? So something kind of like that. And the hands kind of disappear. So you don't really need much for that. Okay? That's kind of, so that'll work. All right, and down here the same thing is, you know, start your shoulder, actually do the legs, that's what I did up there. So a little bit of something for the waist, okay, and you know, you line right up, depending, you know, you might line shape a little differently, but it still connects, okay, and then the shoulder, you want to bring that arm right out of the shoulder, you know, don't bring it out of the middle of her waist, okay, we're down like that. And like I said, this one is a little shorter because she's reaching forward. Maybe a little hand. Okay. Yeah, that'll do it. I'll show you that in a second. Let's do, all right, before I forget, if you want to try to get these little spots of flowers or whatever, weeds and stuff to show on the body, which is really a great little trick to really set that horse in all of the field. We'll try doing it, and then if it comes out and you don't really like how it is, you just color over it with the color of the horse. Okay? Maybe I won't bother to do it here because I don't want to color around all that stuff, but I'll do it up here. And if you look at it, you know, this is really not the color. It's almost pink. I don't know if I have a pink like that or orange. I'm gonna use this really, really warm, bright yellow. Okay? I'm gonna do that first. Okay? And what I'll do, I'm not gonna make little. I can make a few little circles, but then in some sections it's just a little strip of it. And you don't even need a lot, right? Just a little. So make some blurs of light on there, okay? And then what I want you to do is, for the most part, you know, this is, we're coloring here, we're coloring up and down a little bit. We'll put a little on here just to get things going. Kind of like this. And I think you can see that right here, the light turns to a different shade of yellow because this area is in the shadow of the horse, okay? So we want it to stop right here so that we have that difference. And so then this girl or boy or whoever you want it to be, they're going to have a little shadow behind them. Maybe kind of connected to like where the hand is. Because in the morning, as the sun comes up, I mean, the shadows are very, very long, okay? Because the sun's very low in the sky, hits things, causes a shadow, and then during the day, the sun goes up, and then like, you know, noon, you have a little teeny tiny shadow underneath your feet, okay? So you can tell, it's not just in the afternoon when people have a big shadow, okay? So we have that. The other thing that's sort of happening here is there's shadow just because of the way the grass maybe changes or whatever. Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's do this. Okay? Alright, so down here, like I said, I'm not going to bother so much. Actually, I'll do that. Let me give him the tail. Okay, and part of creating texture in some cases is how you draw. So the more that we draw up and down, the more that it will look like grass. Okay? Especially here. I want to add a little of that again at the end. Okay, so this is what I want to do before I really jump in and start coloring is I'm going to take, now that you can see it, I probably, if I had not needed for you to see, I might have drawn it with this to start with. Do you see what this is? It's a very, very milky yellow, all right? And I want to make sure that right on the top of this horse, maybe out here on the tail, maybe right on the ear, and maybe these bangs are super, super light, okay? Here, it's going to be enough just to put that yellow around the face, okay? But I want that against this dark sky, okay? That's how it's going to stand out. So the same thing's happening around the hair. No matter what color hair you want it to be, you know, black hair, red hair, brown hair like this one does. But put that on there. And then, you know, maybe right down where the hands are, maybe a little bit on the arms, because this is going to help. Oh, the thing I wanted you to realize too is that, I guess when we're coloring it is, don't have the person's shoulder, like their under part of their arm, go way to almost up, too skinny. It's going to come out, you know, down a little lower on the body. If you have it too skinny, you know, you have to have a sleeve and you have to, all that stuff, okay? All right, let me see. I think this is okay. Let's color her shirt in. So pick whatever you want. I'm gonna kind of stick with what's here, and I'm gonna use this blue, which is kind of what it is, okay? And I guess I don't need that one there. Color that in. Alright. Pretty dark, because if you squint your eyes, you'll see that this is one of the darkest places, you know, in the picture. This, the horse, her hair, those are the things that are the really darkest. And that is going to help you create this drama of this light, okay? Right here, like that's what I was saying is, you know, don't make the shoulder too skinny. Bring that down like that. Okay. I find something like this just fascinating. I mean, I didn't have any idea when I went to art school. I had no idea. Like, I thought drawing things like this was impossible. But it's really just doing what you're seeing. And if you have a good picture to, you know, to start with, and you can follow it, you can learn how to make the tricks, and then, you know, you can do it yourself. You can create your own picture, but you'll have learned this little trick, like how to make it sunny. I mean, maybe you want to have, you know, a rocket ship exploding in a sunny morning, and you know, you just use the same tricks. Okay, let me do down here. I want to go too dark because I'm going to have the hair a little bit darker so I can see the difference between it. Alright, there's that. And I'll go a little bit darker on her pants, I guess. And the more I kind of jig-jag it right here against the grass, the more the grass will look grassy. Alright, I will get a little darker pants. How about this? Alright. Those little white spots. Alright, and then let's do the hair. I'm going to use a little bit darker brown. Make sure I get that one there dark. So nice and dark right here, but as you come around the edges, leave that glowing yellow bit. I know it seems weird, but in the end, it will work. And you can always make the yellow smaller, but start with it big, okay? That way you've got plenty of room. All right, I think I will go to the horse. Let's do that next. And then I'm going to use this dark reddish brown for the horse, because it has that really, really warm glow, and it would be bouncing off of all of the yellow in the field, and so that nice red would be nice for the brown, and rather than, I might put a little of the other one on there too. So I want to go a little jig-jaggedy against the mane too, so that looks a little hairy. Okay, and like I said, I don't need too much of the gold left on the face, because we're going to use the, but if you need to shape it a little differently, do that now, because when you color in the yellow will cover over the other yellow, and then, you know, you can have it whatever shape you want. You know, you fix it. That's why you worked with something light. Don't draw everything out in black and then wonder why you can't correct anything. You can correct anything. So I need these. I'm going to go around these a little bit. I might touch them up with something lighter afterwards. Okay. It's so humid here, which I don't mind. I like the sun. Down here in my basement though, that I had just painted my floor. I paint my floor all the time, because as soon as I paint it, I dump paint all over it again. And it peels off and stuff. But it's so humid, the whole thing is like all buckled. I'm standing on a bath mat upside down, because Otherwise the paint peels right off and sticks to my feet. It's kind of gross. There we go. Okay. So now you might start to see something with your horse. Check here. Check that this is a nice, that there's a nice thickness right here. You can always add on right in here if you need to. I think I'm doing all right. All right. I don't need these blues. I don't need the blues. All right. I need the black. Is it in my hand? Yes. Okay. So for here, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to bother, like I said, with the little flowers. So I'm going to paint, draw like that. That's pretty dark with this horse. There we go. Always been very sensitive to the light and the colors, but I didn't really get what was happening until I really, took a lot of drawing classes and then in painting classes, and then I learned what was really happening, what I was really like taking away from the different types of light, just subconsciously. And then you start to figure out ways to use it to your advantage. Like if you love moonlight, you learn how to make, let's see. You learn how to make something look like there's moonlight on it. Okay. All right. Oh, let's do this. Okay, so. This. There's that. Whenever, if you're trying to do something with the hair or with the grass or something, try to not be too perfectly striped. Put a little extra right here, and then maybe skip a little space and do something like that. That'll help to make things seem a little more natural, as being a little more random. All right, I guess I will go ahead and put a little color on the. It's a funny color. It's actually kind of purple. I bet if I used my Photoshop and like whatever you call it when you put the little dropper on there to figure out, I bet the color's purple. But I don't really have that purple, so I'm gonna put a little gold on here, and a little gold on here, and then I'm gonna take this dark brown, I'm gonna get things a little bit darker. I've got a little dark brown that I'm adding to the horse, fill in all those little white spots, so I can really create this illusion. I'm not really a morning person, but it's kind of even an underestimation. But it is beautiful. When I am up in the morning, it is beautiful. But I like to sleep. Sleeping is very important to me. I work pretty hard during the day. I'm a goer. Get things done. I do a lot in a day. So I need to rest. There we go. And so does everybody, right? It's a bummer if you have sleeping troubles, isn't it? Okay. Ooh, get that tail in there. A little more of my sunny yellow up here. And I need that a little bit darker. I need this. Okay. Okay. All right, we're ready to, get that sky in there. Okay, this is gonna be kind of boring. But if you want, take I have three different colors to use. Okay, a kind of an olive green and like a dark blue and kind of a medium dark green. Okay, so on this one, I already have the line lined right up. I'm gonna take the green, this green, and what I'm going to do is pretty carefully go around, go down around the, right up. I want it to be dark too. I'm going to go right around this. Oops. I just peeled that all off with my fingernail. Okay. I don't know who did this painting. I wish I knew, but I don't. Sometimes it's very easy to find out who did the pictures if I use a picture, and sometimes it is impossible. It's a rabbit hole of trying to figure it out, so I'm sorry if the person who did it wants to get some credit. I would love to give it to you. Okay, so you see what happens with that, and then I want it to be kind of random, but I definitely want it to be dark. If I run out of steam when I'm coloring in, I want it to be up towards the top, not here. This is the whole thing. It's a very, very high contrast. Okay, that means something very, very dark against something very, very light. Low contrast is when it's kind of like, grays against grays, and they're used there for different, you can manipulate how people enjoy your picture and what you're trying to show with contrast of everything, but the contrast of light a lot. Okay, so I'll get that on there. If I leave a little light up here, it kind of looks like light coming through, so I don't know. If I go a little bit in one direction and then go in the other direction, it does create a little bit of interest, but it's very subtle. This is very low contrast, because these are a very low contrast of hue, meaning like they're all greens, they're just a little different shades of greens, and it's also a low contrast of value because they're all dark, they're just different shades, just a little different. Okay, like that. And it is supposed to be different trees out here, so there could be, little shaping in the stuff or whatever like that. Okay? I'm going to use up this green. I have to buy some more stuff from Dick Blick. That's where I order my stuff from. Never let me down. Okay. Alright, so I have to do it down here, then we'll do the grass and we'll be done. Okay. So with the black and white, the issue is that I need to create this line. Okay? So, if I had done this, I need two of these. Okay. If I can get this off of here, then I don't have to change the shape too much. Otherwise, it might be a little skimpy. And you have to imagine that the mane, is fluffing up on the neck a little bit. So you don't really want the line to be flush with this one, okay? So if I bring this up just a little bit like that, that'll work for there because it's going to be dark against light anyway. But here, what I have to do is I have to leave myself a little, I don't have to do it too much there. This is going to be kind of thick, but so I'll have to make it a little smaller as I go along. But a little skinny line, I don't need it here, and then I need it around her hair, which I kind of did. I kind of left. Okay, and then we have this line here. Alright, so then what happens is, around the ear, that's where I need it. Okay? Is the same thing. Again, I gave myself a little bit more space, which I'll probably reduce that. Like that. And this is going to look like this. I was going, and the other thing I can do too is, if it's kind of hard for me to work in this direction, maybe I can get it. You can always turn your paper or your canvas or whatever you're working on to get at it better. Nobody says you have to have it in one direction all the time, right? I was going to, I think this was the one. I had a couple of options for a painting class at Maine Horse and Rider in Holden, Maine, which is the one you see when you're going to Bar Harbor with the big horse up front. And it is a absolutely beautiful shop. They are the nicest people, and they have everything, and it's just beautiful in there. And I've done fundraisers for UMaine horse clubs, which I had no idea there were so many. There's like the standard bred horse and the dressage club and another one, but I can't think of what it is, at least. And they're all different, and they all like have they're separate. You know, you're not in all the clubs, as far as I know, anyway. And we were gonna do one this spring, but it didn't quite happen. So I was like, well, I might as well do it with this group, because painting it would be different anyway, and that's what we would do, is paint it. But always a good time. People who love horses are pretty cool with me. All right, see how that's working? You know, so I had to be a little careful, and then, but this is the big secret. This is how we're creating that glowing, beautiful, sunny feel. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You can draw anything you want, and you can use that. You have to just have that super bright. I think it's cool how it works like that. Okay? All right. Okay. So down here, let me just sort of finish what's going to happen here. So here, I'm going to have more pieces like this. Maybe a little, like I said, a little shadier. Less contrast right here. Makes it look like the horse is in the grass. More, if I want to get a little more texture, like on the bottom, make sure these things like touch the bottom of your page, okay? That's a big part of it. But that'll look a little like grass. You know. And like I said, we had a little shadow like right there. You know, you do want the pants, they can be a little darker, but you definitely want what's right behind your figure to be a little darker, right? Because otherwise it's going to look weird. You know, if you have that much light, there's definitely going to be some shadows. So in this case, I can kind of just leave. It's probably even this whole section is a little darker. Okay, but that gets you the effect. Okay, so up here I want to use the yellow, and I have this. I'll use a few of these light colors that I have to do the light parts. So I have 2 light greens and 2 light yellows. Okay, and they're going to be what does it. Okay, so put that right in there. And this part you don't really have, it's far away, and so you don't think too much about the texture of the grass, you're just thinking color. Alright, so bring that right in there. And right over her sleeves, you know, you can go right over them. If you lose a little of her sleeve as it goes into it just, you know, your hand from this distance isn't very big. If you're a little darker skinned, you know, you might see a little bit more, but still not very much. Okay? And we won't say, oh no, that poor girl, she wants to ride her horse, but she has no hands. Well, no, she has hands. Okay? I mean, it could be that she doesn't have hands. But, there. Alright, there's a little of that. Maybe a little of this. Like I said, I'm going to create a shadow on these things. put a little, the greens. You know, I could even have a little glow out here of places where the leaves are a little lighter. They're sticking out, catching a little light. Okay. I'll use this other green. Green and orange together make kind of a more natural looking green. So I can put that right in here. Let's see. And kind of like that, bring that over. Okay, and then I'm gonna get some the opposite, some darker colors, okay? Like I said, I don't need so much contrast right here with the horse. And I'm going to bring this across here a little bit. And here. Ooh, there's a beautiful breeze coming through my tiny little window here. It's going to be a really nice day. I hope you're still watching. I guess so. I don't know who's there. I can't see. If I put my glasses on, if I put my contacts on, then I can't see the thing I'm drawing, and if I'm not wearing them, then I really can't see what's going on. So it's just, but it makes it so I can see a lot better up close. All right, there's that. All right, so this has to get just a little bit darker in there. Let's see. I'll take this green. And this might be a thing too where I start to get a little texture. Like that. If you'd like to leave a donation, there's a link right below the post. You can just click on that, take you right to it. If you know, I get it. Money's tight. Even a little bit is nice because I just know you're out there. It makes me decide whether or not this is worth continuing. But also, if you can't, what would be really great is for you to share this for me. Because I'd like to, I don't know where people are as far as like people who are just looking for something to do, or maybe people that are looking for something for the kids to do, and I just can't reach everybody, and Facebook doesn't, you know, reach everybody, and even when I make an ad, it doesn't reach everybody. So if you can share it right to your timeline, and then, you know, people that are your friends will see it. That's all you have to do is you just go to where that little arrow is and share, and just share to my timeline, and it will be there, and you know, that helps me to reach some people that I wouldn't reach otherwise, which would be a huge help. All right, and they're also all on YouTube. Free drawing class with Valerie Wallace. There's a playlist. I would try to find the playlist, and then you can just slide right through. And you know what? I think there's almost 80 classes because I started this March 20th. And so there's, you know, there should be something for everybody there. All right, this last bit, I'm going to color these just right to the edges. Blur that right in with the top. All right, so you can see, I mean, we've got a horse, no question, a little person, and this beautiful sunny field, right? Okay, 2 different versions, you know, make it your own, have fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be here tomorrow, 8 o'clock at night, and we're going to do the Rosie the Riveter. I think, there you go, by Tim Okamura. Okamura, I'm not really sure how to say his name. And, you know, you can do it any way you want to, but this is how I'm going to do it. Okay? And it's for everybody. All right? Thank you very much. Let me give you a close-up so you can finish your picture up. And have a great afternoon. Hey, Evergreen. Hey, Amy. Hey, Tracy. Andrea. heard from you in so long. Tina. There's Mom, Kim, Todd. Hey, Sue. And Sophie and Alicia. Yep, there we have it. Thank you. See you tomorrow, maybe.